Stock futures up this morning. Stock futures are active even the market's closed. Remember, the Dow's only 1,000 points away from its all-time record high. Come on in, our favourite guy. There he is, Dennis Gartman, the man himself. So, OK, the market's closed today, but tell us, when are we going to hit a record high on the Dow?
Sometime in the future. It is a bull market, isn't it?
Come on, Dennis.
Yeah,
come on, Dennis. You can't get away with that.
Genius.
What a genius this man is. In the infinite future, I dare say the Dow will get to 100,000, but it's not going to be next week. So you tell me, 26.8,
yes.
That's the record high, closing high. When do we top it?
Sometime later this year. It's a bull market. It's going from the lower left to the upper right. It's been moving that way since December 26th, after the panic sell-off of last year. The best that I can tell you, I've been at this for 45 years, so I'm relatively new to it, but to get the direction right is the best that one is able to do, and the direction is it's a bull market. So one has to err upon the side of owning stocks. I'm not sure one should be a buyer here, but if you already own them, and I'm lucky to own a number, I'm lucky to be long, I'm going to stay long. There's no reason to do otherwise.
Is this latest run-up, and by that I mean the January and February run-up, is that largely the result of speculation that we'll get some kind of deal with China on trade?
Actually, I think it's more than that. I think it's the fact that the Fed has clearly changed its policy. Beginning in April of 2015, when the adjusted monetary base reached its peak, the Fed has been rolling off or allowing its assets to roll down about $50 billion per month. We thought that was going to continue, but beginning about 4 weeks ago, when Mr. Powell made the first statements otherwise, they've stopped that process. And that was what bothered me about stock prices last year, was that rolling out of assets, that decline in the adjusted monetary base. That has stopped. I think the fact that we're going to get some kind of trade arrangement with the Chinese, and there's no question we will come up with some new trade arrangement, because neither country will be well served by not doing so. Yep. That's just icing upon the cake. I think it's the fact that we are still allowing the monetary base to grow. Fuel is being supplied to the economy and to the stock market.
I've got a minute left, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to go after socialism. After all, President Trump goes to Miami tonight to give a speech about the dangers of Venezuela and socialism. Just let me ask you this question. What do you think would happen to our stock market if in November 2020 we elected a far-left socialist Democrat to the White House?
It would tumble 1,000 points the first day in the Dow. It would tumble 1,000 points the next day, and it would be a collapse. I mean, if we've learned one thing in the last 70 or 100 years, it's that socialism, communism, Marxism is deleterious to any kind of economic activity. It destroys societies. It does not give you strength. It gives you weakness. That would be the worst thing that can happen. And the problem is they're teaching socialism in our schools. That has to stop.
Be careful, Dennis. Mr. Krugman, Professor Krugman said that about Trump on the eve of his election.
Yeah, but
Careful.
But did he sell all his stocks to Paul Krugman?
Oh, I don't know that. So, would you sell all your stocks if the left wins in 2020?
Oh, not a question. I did like your story about changing the light bulbs in the apartments. So we have how many Virginians does it take to change a light bulb? 1 to change it, and 3 to talk about how great the old bulb was.
Very good, Dennis. Clever. Great start to President's Day broadcasting. Mr. Gartman, you're all right. We'll see you again soon. Thank you, sir.